Freedom is not free. Our Korean friends know this as we celebrate the 60th anniversary of the end of the Korean War. We remember our vets who served during this war, sometimes called the Forgotten War. How can this be when so many lives were lost?
Lessons I learned was we should give them roses while they're living. And so often we forget that while we have the heroes in our presence, it's our responsibilities, our opportunities, our honor to stop and say thank you. And I will tell you that some people call it forgotten war. I don't understand that. This war should never be forgotten. It should never be forgotten. And in my family, it never will be forgotten. I'll tell you just a quick story, and I'm going to get out of your way, but when I was thinking about today's opportunity for me to say thank you, I think about and talk a lot about my nephew. Everybody's got one in the family that just loves more than the rest of them? Please don't raise your hand. Good. My nephew, we call him the heir to the Scott throne. He's the only kid in the family. His name is Ben Scott. Just graduated from Georgia Tech, getting ready to get his master's at Duke. And I'm so excited and proud of him. And I was thinking that because of the men and women who fought during this Korean War, you created a free Korea. And on 1961, October 12th, 8 years later, after you guys finished creating freedom, a lady named Lee Sun-il was born. Lee Sun-il was born in Seoul, Korea, a free woman, an opportunity to live a grand life. And she happened to fall in love with an Army soldier, a guy named Ben Scott Jr. The two of them created the heir to the Scott throne, my nephew, Ben Scott III. And I will tell you, I think about the fact that she was able to grow up in a free Korea. Fall in love with an American soldier, and to bring to this world the only living heir, the only son that will pass on today. I'm hoping to change that one day in the future, but today, the only heir for the Scott name to continue is because of your sacrifice. You made it possible. And I think to myself, all around the world, all around this country, and everywhere through Korea, there are children that are alive and free because of your sacrifice. And we know that the price was high. And so many times you don't get the thank yous that you deserve, and there aren't words. There aren't words to say thank you appropriately. But I hope that when you look around at the people that have come out on your behalf to say to you, we have not forgotten. We will not forget. We love you. We appreciate your sacrifice. And it is our responsibility to continue to say thank you in tangible ways. And we will and we should. And so on behalf of two grateful nations, America and Korea, I say thank you.
The next clip is taken from Korean War POW Lieutenant Bill Funch's speech. He tells us about his narrow release back to the U.S. The Chinese Communist officers had decided early on that he was not a POW, but instead a war criminal. They then refused to release him, with the other POWs being exchanged to the U.S. One morning, they threw him in the back of a truck and drove him around for an hour before stopping. Here is the end of his fascinating story as he makes his way back to the American side.
And the Chinese officer said, "Can you see that path?" And I looked, there was a little narrow footpath, looked like about 12 or 15 inches riding, very faint, and I could tell it was a path. He said, walk down that path. Step off the path, you will be killed. And I hesitated apparently because he shouted, move! That was the last word ever spoken to me by either a North Korean or Chinese communist soldier. I began walking down the path. I looked left and right. I could tell it was mine on both sides. And in a few minutes, I heard the truck pull away. And I realized then they had not told me what my status was. I was there on that path all alone. I wondered if I was still a POW or if I was free. I did not know, or was not told. I didn't know anything to do except continue walking. I walked a long time, it seemed like. Finally, I saw a white star on an ambulance up ahead. As I got nearer, I saw a major and the driver standing by the back of the ambulance. The back doors were open. The major called out, "Are you Lieutenant Funches?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Lieutenant, you don't realize how lucky you are to be here. They were holding you as a war criminal last night. Both sides agreed to release war criminals." The major then said, "Lieutenant, get to the back of the ambulance. We will close the doors and we will take you to get you something to eat." The doors slammed shut. The ambulance pulled out down this dusty, funky dirt road. And then I realized for the first time that my war, the forgotten war, finally come to an end. Thank you so much.
Those of us who did not serve, who are here to support and to say thank you to the men and women who served in the Korean era, please stand up and let's give them a standing round of ovation. serve our country so well. make us so proud. Realizing that some of them ultimately lost it all. But the cause is freedom. It's not free. God bless y'all. Thank you so much for making all of them so proud.
What did you think of the ceremony today, guys?
Thought it was great.
It was great, wasn't it?
And it's good that we got a man left here to be able to tell the stories of what happened to the prisoner of war there in Korea.
Lieutenant Bill Funchess, an unbelievable story.
He did. I just went back and talked to him. You know, we got him to sign the POW flag that we was carrying.
I saw y'all up there.
Yeah, that Mike is on the board of the POWMIA in the ride home, and he's getting all these on the flag are prisoner of wars.
How many signatures have you gotten?
25. Every one of these is a POW from Korea. Some have passed. So I got 3 today, and I knew 2 of them, but I didn't know the guest speaker today. So getting his was nice.
I saw you up there getting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does it mean?
27, Mike.
27. So what does it mean to have this flag and to have the names and everything on it?
For me personally, these are my friends. When we said that we would stand for them and we would not forget, about 7 years ago I started doing the ride home. And I started meeting POWs, some that weren't even veterans. A woman who was in Bataan, 13-year-old girl, when the Japanese took over. After my first time, I've been dedicated to POWs, and I go anywhere to help them, do whatever I can. We recently this gentleman and I just represented, this is Stanley, by the way, Stanley Weber. He's the vice commander of the American Legion, and he's also my chaplain for the Sons of the Legion. We presented an honorary medal to Frank Tooley, a Korean POW.
And he was here today.
And he was here today, yeah?
Yeah,
yep.
He was here today.
And so I've been doing this now for 6, and my wife.
You can't leave Brenda out.
No. My wife, she does 2 loads of laundry every day for veterans. There's going to be a stand down in October. My wife has been doing 2 loads of laundry, I'd say darn near every day, for 3 years. At least 3 years. And she catalogs the clothes, and she even takes prescriptions. If somebody calls her and says, I wear a size 42, 17 neck, and she'll find it. She cleans it, she hems it to some extent, mostly putting buttons on, and she presents it to them. So neither my wife nor I served. My father was a Marine in World War II. And I was raised by very, very patriotic parents, as was my wife. And it's what we do.
He does a lot.
Mike, Danny, thank you so much for talking to me,
and
we'll be talking to you on the radio.
You got it.
We got to go on to another one now this afternoon.
Yeah, this is going to be, hopefully we'll have an opportunity to say thank you again to so many people who have made our country what it is today in the positive ways. And it just reminds me of how much work we have to do to preserve the memory of the greatest sacrifice that people could pay. And TAPS was such a profound part of that moment.
It always is, isn't it?
It should be. It should be. We get to enjoy so much freedom, and we don't realize all the time that the freedom that we enjoy today was paid for by someone who will never experience what they paid for me to have. And that makes what we do serious.
I think the other thing, Tim, is the fact how well the South Korea has been able to do based on our involvement. And I love the fact that every time you go to the Korean monument,
yes,
there is a wreath from the Korean
Absolutely.
people.
When I talk about free Korea, I'm certainly not talking about North Korea, obviously. But I think about Korea being free. I think about South Korea. I think about Seoul. I think about my family. I think about the lives that are being transformed because of the opportunities that our men and women gave to another nation. And they didn't know these folks.
Exactly.
They went someplace in a foreign land to fight for the notion that all men have the right to be free, and even in their own land. We provided about 90% of all the non-Korean soldiers. Just think about that. And that's remarkable.
It is remarkable. And on Monday, I had Korean students were at Lander for an exchange program.
Yes.
And they don't even realize what sacrifice was given. I mean, they're 20. They
Exactly.
have no
clue.
idea. Yeah, they're clue.
Yeah,
but
I'm 47, and the severity of that sacrifice, it's still hard to articulate with words.
Exactly.
And but anyways, it's a good day. It's a good day.
And you are to be commended for putting this whole program, putting it on the map so that people are out there doing things today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Senator Tim Scott.
We throw love in.
All right.
God
Thank
bless
you very much.
Yes,
God bless you. What did you think of the ceremony?
Awesome. Anytime that you can be in the presence of a real hero, a lot of times you think what we went through and what I went through in Vietnam, and then somebody comes along like that, and it makes what I did very minute. I mean, and it humbles me to know that people like that survived and still can get up and give a testimony that strong. I mean, that's strong, and it's right. It's just like we should never ever forget the men and women who go off and do their duty to our country. I don't believe it's fair to the Vietnam veteran, to the Korean veteran, anybody who feels like they didn't get what they deserve. Because if you served, you deserve. That's just the way I've always looked at it. That's the way I look at it. I'm Terry Simmons.
And where are you from, Terry?
I'm from Inouye. I live in Inouye. Actually, a Woodruff boy. I went to school at Woodruff.
A Woodruff boy?
Yes, I am. How about that?
How about that? And what branch of the service were you in?
I was in the Army, 101st Airborne, and I was wounded at Hamburger Hill.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. One of the very few survivors.
You're right. One of the very few survivors.
Yeah, I was.
Well, it is a real honor to meet you.
Okay, who are you with?
We appreciate your service to our country. I'm Ann Eller with WCRS Radio.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
I'm Ann Eller from WCRS Radio in Greenwood.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are a Korean War vet?
I was there 10 years ago today,
10 years ago today.
and it rained in there.
It was raining there, so this brings back a lot of memories, doesn't it?
Oh, yes. Where's my poncho?
Where's your poncho? And who am I talking to?
We're talking to Leroy Self.
And where are you from, Leroy?
Spartanburg County.
Spartanburg County. Are you related to the Selfs down there in Greenwood?
No, ma'am. I'm from the other side of the fence.
Other side of the fence.
Fence or railroad tracks, whatever.
Well, you know what? I want to thank you for your service to our country. It has made our country much better because you were there.
Well, honey, I appreciate that. And I do it again in a heartbeat. I just can't run no longer. My knees are bone on bone. But, honey, I can still shoot.
You can still shoot?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we may need you. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time, honey.
Who am I talking to? Andy Burley?
Yeah.
And when were you in our service?
I went in. Well, I signed the paper in 1967, and I finally got out in 1991. So I was in for 24 years. And I flew helicopters in the Army, and I flew fighters in the Air Force and Air National Guard. I spent a year in Vietnam. I've been shot up. I've been shot down. I've been shot at and hit and shot at and missed. So.
Now, where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from the metropolitan Atlanta area. I grew up on the north side, but we live in Greer now, and we've been there for a number of years. Have grandkids down the street.
That's terrific.
Should have moved here 25 years ago.
Well, I appreciate you talking to us. Well, listen, we are here with Ira and Carrie King. We're talking about 60 years was the anniversary, July 27th. We're talking about that forgotten war that's not so forgotten, particularly to the Korean people, it's not forgotten. So you went directly in and they shipped you right over there to Korea then, is that right?
Yeah, we made one, they assigned me from basic training to the USS Essex, which was a jet carrier that had just been recommissioned and brought up to date and everything. It was 3 football fields long, and we left Bremerton Naval Shipyard with 3,000 men, and we went down the coast and into San Diego, and we picked up a company of Marines and 125 airplanes, and we sailed for a while.
You know, one of the things that I wanted to talk about with you that I found totally fascinating was when you were telling us about being on the ship on September 16th, 1951, and the plane and the fire that happened. Can you tell that story to us?
The plane came in and jumped the barricades and just went charging into the 8 propeller-type planes that were already, they had napalm bombs, shrapnel bombs, everything on them. And that all started blowing up, and then it was just in a wall of fire for over 2 hours. And we got down below, and they let us out on the main deck, and we finally got our hoses and stuff going. And
yeah, but you said they let you out on the main deck. Didn't they push you out on the main deck and seal the door?
They said, get out.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah, they said, get out there. You got about 2 minutes. And then they sealed the door behind us, and we knew that we was out there permanently. And it took over 2 hours before the fire was out. But they had washed it over on us, the fire, and we were walking around in ankle-deep fire with the water and the gas and the oil and everything that was burning. And we finally got our hoses up going, and we were able to push the fire away from us over off the right side, which was starboard. And as they pushed it off over the top, we were the floor right under it, so we were going to have to push it. Because we knew if it encircled us, we was gone.
Right.
We wouldn't have a chance. But we only had one big 4-inch hose, and you had to have 4 men to hold that hose. And we kept pushing like a windshield wiper the fire back over the side, and the fire was running out into the water. It was out about half a block in the water, so no other ships could get that close to help us, because we was on our own as far as. But all the guys that were involved with the plane, putting fuel on them, filling the machine guns up inside, and working on the bombs and stuff that were they were putting the primers and stuff in there. They were all cremated before they could ever get any water. They finally got water under the planes and pushed them off. Then the guy could come up with a tractor, and he could he'd hit them on the propeller and shove them over backwards, and they'd go over the side into the ocean. But we were down underneath. We could see them hang every once in a while. A plane would hang, and you could see the fire going up between the bombs. It wasn't a good feeling, really.
It wasn't a good feeling, I guess not, Ira.
But as 8 of us went out, and only one guy of our group got killed. But the last word I got was we were 32 men missing and 9 planes.
I really appreciate you taking time being here, and again, I want to thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you.